Welcome to Faust in-house with State Representative Tim Faust. I'm Mike Howard. Representative, thanks for coming into the studio to talk about issues and how they're going to affect folks back home.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, when people see on the TV what's going on at the Capitol, a lot of times they see a floor debate and that whole thing, but often they're not seeing the tough work that's being done in committees where you're focusing on an individual issue, and you serve on the Education Committee. Talk a little bit about some of the issues you're facing in that committee this session.
All right. Well, I'm on the Education Policy Committee rather than Education Finance. And one of the issues that has come up this year is alternative teacher licensures. And it's something that has been being pushed by some leaders in our party as well as leaders in the Republican Party, but I'm very strongly opposed to it. I believe that we need to have teachers as just push the standards as far as we can on teachers, and I'm really worried that these alternative teacher licensures are not going to do that. They're actually going to move that the opposite direction.
What is an alternative teacher license for someone who might not be familiar with the term or know what that is all about?
It's a very good question. Most people that are teachers have gone through 4 years of college, and when they started college, they said, I want to be a teacher, and they get, a ton of education classes, and then whatever field they're studying in, they take a lot of classes in that. My oldest son, for example, he wants to teach 7th and 8th grade math is one of the things he wants to teach. He has to take 4 classes above calculus plus all of these education classes in order to teach 7th and 8th grade math. And so I think that, if you've been to college and you know how high a math that means he's going through, in order to teach 7th and 8th grade math, nobody could argue whether he's qualified or not to do that. The alternative teacher licensure allows somebody that has a 4-year degree. For example, my degree is in economics. And I could go through a program where I spent 200 hours in a classroom, 5 weeks of student teaching, and I could go and teach high school chemistry. Now, let me tell you something. I could maybe teach economics, but scary things will happen if you put me in a chemistry room. And so I just don't think that we have all the checks and balances in this system that we need. And so I'm very concerned about that. And I unfortunately, I disagree very strongly with some of the leaders in my party on this issue. And I believe that it's going to lower the quality of teachers rather than increase it.
And that's what it's about, right? Quality, making sure that we have teachers that are well-trained, know the subjects, so that they can put our students in the best position to succeed.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's all about what's in the best interest of the students, and I don't believe that that the alternative teacher licensure is in the best interest of the students. There are certainly, there's Teach America has a very successful program. They were in my office and they told me that they get 2,000 applications a year from people, and they select the best 20. So they're taking 1% of the people that apply for this. Well, if you take the top 1% of a group of people that apply to do almost anything, they're going to be successful. And if they water that down, so instead of only 20, they take in 200 or 2,000 now, all of a sudden I'm very concerned that we are not going to have the success, and we're going to have huge failures in that system.
Well, education and the Education Policy Committee, that's something that's moving forward. And like you said, it's not necessarily a party line issue. And I think with many issues here at the Capitol that you wrestle with, that's kind of the case. It's not exactly a blue or red issue.
That's absolutely right, and a lot of people think that everything is divided on party lines, but there's a lot of things that are not, and this is one of the things that is not necessarily divided on party lines. There's a lot of other issues that come that way. Another one would be the state funding formula would be one that is divided more by urban-rural than it is Democrat or Republican. So there's actually a lot of issues that fall into those categories where they're divided by urban-rural rather than Democrat or Republican, or other means that they're divided by. So,
well, I know folks that have students in the classrooms might have extra questions about this, and you encourage them to contact you, whether it be phone or email. Or even if they visit up the Capitol. I know you have folks that come into the Capitol.
Yes, it's great to see people from home from back home and come down and see me in the Capitol. And I actually have gotten quite a few emails on this issue already on the alternative teacher licensures. But I encourage anyone with any questions on that or something else to contact my office, either email or by phone, either way. Well, whatever works best for them, or handwritten letter still works. We still do get some of those, but by far email is probably the most popular. And I encourage people to contact me about this or any other issue.
Great. Thanks. This has been Faust for House. Thanks for tuning in.